This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello, welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches a philosopher talk about, a rhetoric philosopher talk about Amberlynn. Actually, Emily and Amberlynn. We have hairball sweater today because I'm back in my slimes. I need things to keep my hands busy. You can't see them though. Anyway, so this may look familiar to you. This is the deleted video. Rachel took down her video exposing Amberlynn Reid again. This is a video that Rachel put out, I want to say, about 4 days ago now, I think. And 4 or 5 days ago as of today being the 22nd. Anyway, it doesn't matter. In this video, Rachel got some voicemails from Emily, like actual voicemails from Emily. And if you don't know, Emily has apparently gone on an attempt to scrub her presence from the internet. And good luck. Because Emily made the life-altering mistake of sticking her nose into girl world. And the internet is forever. So, Emily reached out to a bunch of channels and possibly, maybe, privacy struck a couple channels. Maybe that's up in the air. I don't know. It's a possibility. And if that is true, that's shitty. But if it's not true, someone else is striking channels on her behalf, apparently. Not necessarily at her behest, but on her behalf. Those are two different things. So anyway, Emily reached out to Rachel and told Rachel that Emily was rescinding her consent to have her voice in the video. And so Rachel took the whole video down. And cool. I don't think that was necessarily a bad move on Rachel's end. I don't necessarily think it needed to happen, like by TOS or anything. Like, I don't think just because just because Emily reached out to Rachel after the fact and was like, hey, I don't want my voice out there anymore, I don't think Rachel like legally had to take the video down. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But it was nice of Rachel to do that simply because Emily asked. Now, Emily, in my opinion, and I have been very firm on this, is sus as fuck. And I think Emily doing that only furthers her being sus as fuck. So it's nice of Rachel to honor Emily's request and take the video down. But to further the point, this video is on a channel called Girl. It's got 424 subscribers. They reposted this video basically the same day. So that was nice. So as I was reacting, because it literally came down while I was reacting. That was fun. So since they reposted this for me, I am able to continue reacting to it because I've already reacted to the voicemail part of it and I'm not taking my video down. Unless somebody from YouTube tells me I have to, and then that's a whole other can of worms, and that I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But, so there you have that. I do have my limits. But I don't think that necessarily has to happen because I think once that is out there, it's out there and there's really nothing Emily can do about it, right? Because it's not like it was put out there without her knowledge at the time. So anyway, that is enough of that. So thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who will hit the thumbs up button or the thumbs down button. I know that this has been a very contentious topic to be had on this channel. I know there are people who agree with me. I know there are people who do not agree with me. I know there are some of you who have told me to stop saying this, but I just want to be aware of the fact that I know that this is a topic that is divisive amongst the girl world universe. All right. So I just want to acknowledge that, because I know that my opinion is not necessarily lining up with everyone's opinion. However, I am noticing that my opinion about Emily being sus AF is lining up more and more with more and more channels. So I don't feel as out in left field as I used to. So that's kind of nice. But haha, my diehard isolating skepticism paid off. Anyway, so the channel girl, I will link them down below with this video, so that you guys can go watch it again if you want. This video, when it premiered to the tune of 192k views. It was a hootenanny to have. I had a great time being in the chat. It was a lot of fun. I think 90% of Girl World was there. The only people I didn't see was like Jordy and maybe Pulpy. I don't know. I can't remember. He might have been there and I just didn't see them. My point kind of being, like, everyone was present when this video premiered. We had a good time joking around and laughing in the chat. So this video has already done its rounds and it only got more views over the 2 days that it was up. So the damage is done. I just want to go over parts of Rachel's video as it was put up, because there were just things that were said throughout the video when I was watching it that kind of got me going. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, you know, some things actually made me kind of rethink certain things that I had thought at the time. And there are other things that I kind of like sounded strange to me. And, you know, since I have posted my video about the voice messages from Emily, like a couple holes have been filled in here and there thanks to some of you. And, you know, that's fine because I had questions, and those questions, some of them have been answered, but I still have other questions, you know, and that's how this works. You keep asking questions until you get the answers that you need. And once you have your answers, then you decide, you make your decisions, right? That's how skepticism works. So what I'm going to do is react to various parts. The only downside to this is Rachel had this video chaptered. And I apologize for any skips in the video. Rachel had this video chaptered, and Girl does not have it chaptered. I'm not like, Girl should go chapter the video. It was just kind of convenient, and I miss that convenience. So there's that. But we were on the section that was called cheating, and I'm going to try to keep things as Rachel had it broken up in her video, only because it was convenient. I don't know if I'm going to react to every single section of the video because I'm not entirely sure I care, if that makes sense. Not because I think the video was necessarily bad. I don't. I loved this video. I think it was a good, well done video. It's a 2-hour video. It's roughly a 2-hour video. I don't think I need to react to every single thing, but there were some things. The cheating texts were one of them, and there was another section further along at the end that I wanted to talk about as well, which is going to be a little harder to find now, but that's okay. I do want to say thank you to Girl for reposting this video in its entirety without commentary, and I appreciate that. So, all right, onward. I am going to speed it up. Nope. Playback speed. I'm going to speed it up to 125, but I will also put the closed captions on. So there's that, because I know some of you find that helpful. I find it helpful. And I think that's much ado. Let's go.
Okay, I promise you, she is awful. If I tried to pull up every single clip from Amber's live where she shows these messages and I try to give context for every single one of them, I would be hit all night. But I am going to give a bit more context for a few more of these messages. And also, the context I give for one or two of them will give you context for the entirety of the relationship, if that.
The reason why I wanted to go over this one is because when Amber pulled up the screenshots that she had about the cheating, because of the way Amber did it, it does make the cheating thing come out of nowhere. And I don't understand why Emily went back with Amber in the first place. So I found the cheating accusations that were coming from Rachel towards Amber interesting, only because I don't know why they got back together. And I just think that Emily seemingly to be upset about Amber cheating, I just found that interesting because it does show that Emily was invested in the relationship to some emotional capacity enough that Amber's potential infidelity set her off, right? So I kind of want to know the whole, I was interested to find out the whole context around that because, I mean, I just wanted to know the whole context around it.
That makes sense. I think it does anyway. So another place where I can do this is in this live, Amber reads out this message where Emily accuses Amber of cheating on her. Emily didn't bother sending me these screenshots because you can see the whole conversation. This is the one conversation where Amber actually holds the phone up and scrolls. So you can read the messages. You know what everybody says. This is the clip here.
This was June 28th, 2025. I know you're cheating on me, bitch. Like, just going crazy on me. Saying things like, how am I being awful by confronting on you and catching you in a lie? Sorry you got caught. Telling me that I am cheating on her. Even though I wasn't, and just hounding me for literally weeks.
You'll notice in this clip, Amber says this. She says, she always said the most foul things to me out of nowhere. Now, this is really interesting to me. Amber shows the top of this message chain and she claims that this came from Emily out of nowhere, that Emily accused her of cheating with no basis in fact at all. I have to caveat this by saying this is Emily's version of events. She told me this is what happened. I think it could be true. I don't know. I'm not telling you it's a fact. I'm just giving you someone's side of the story. So Emily claims that she was suspicious and she was speaking with Danielle, who is somebody that Amber used to speak to, or well, she currently still speaks to as far as I understand it. Amber said,
so if the name Danielle sounds familiar, it's because that name has been brought up by Alexis before. Yeah, Alexis before. Spidey. Back when they were still speaking to each other. I think Alexis and Amber are supposedly talking again. I don't know. And I don't actually care too much. But Danielle supposedly was somebody that Amber had in the wing. And I don't remember all the details, honestly, about Danielle. I can't remember if Danielle was the married woman or if Danielle was the youngish woman that Amber was talking to, because there were a variety of them. And yes, I am aware that Valentine was also married. Amber was apparently talking to multiple married women.
Says that she spoke to Danielle and she found out that Amber had still been flirting with Danielle in the DMs. Apparently she blocked her on Facebook, which you can see in the screenshots that Amber shows, but the two had been flirting on Instagram. Amber had been sending Danielle voice notes. So according to Emily, she discovered this, and this is why she said what she said to Amber. It was not out of the blue at all. And I'll be honest, when I saw this message, you're cheating on me, bitch, it really raised my hackles. I was watching Amber's live and I was like, oh God, that is not good at all. I know that accusing your partner of cheating can be a massive part of abusing them. So whenever I hear someone accuse their partner of cheating, I'm a bit like, oh God, it's a tactic which can be used by manipulators. But according to Emily, she claims that she had cause for saying this. She claims that she saw proof that Amber was flirting with another person in her DMs. I don't know for 100% fact, because I haven't seen proof, if this is definitely true, but what I do know is that Amber gives absolutely no context. So Amber says she's a pure, sweet, innocent victim, and Emily, randomly out of nowhere, with no impetus at all, just suddenly starts accusing her of cheating. Now that's not very believable. Emily is the only person who's actually given us a version of events which could be true.
Did she, though? Emily's the only person that has given an excuse. But Emily's only defending her action here, right? Emily's not giving us a story that is the only possible true story. Emily's just defending her behavior in this text message chain, and I apologize.
I don't know.
There we go. That's what's really happening here. We don't know if Emily's telling the truth. We do know that this conversation chain just apparently starts from nothing, and Emily starts it by just accusing Amber of cheating out of nowhere. And Emily, who up to this point has provided screenshots of everything, suddenly doesn't provide screenshots to defend herself here. She says she was getting evidence in her DMs of Amber's infidelity. So where is that? You can't show us the people DMing you the evidence that Amber's still talking to Danielle? You've shown us everything else. Why is this the one thing you won't show? It's little shit like this. This isn't even little. It's stuff like this that makes Emily sus. Emily has shared literally every other screenshot of every other freaking conversation she's had with Amber, but she's not going to show the DMs that set her off to accuse Amber of cheating? I'm not saying that Amber's innocent here. I'm really not, because this isn't the first time we've heard Amber being accused of cheating with, or accused of flirting with Danielle, right? This just isn't even close to the first time we've heard this. But why is this the first time Emily won't show evidence? Right? That's weird to me. It doesn't put Emily in the right. And it doesn't mean that Emily's story is more believable than Amber's. You know? Do I think they're both potentially lying? Yes. Honestly. I honestly think that's probably what's happening.
All I'm saying is, Amber, if that's not true, then tell us why that happened. I don't know what happened, but I know that this is the context that I've got, because Amber's given.
This is the one time Amber actually drops legit receipts. I'm sorry. It's kind of funny. Amber shows the full fucking conversation. This is like the one time she actually does it right. Kind of. And like, everybody's like, Emily's still more believable. Emily, the one person who isn't showing any evidence to the contrary, she's suddenly more believable. Come on. Amber is showing the entire conversation for once. Emily, all she has to say is, nah, that's not what happened. Okay, but where's your evidence it didn't happen? But it didn't happen. That's not how it happened. Oh. You want to show me how it actually happened? No. Were you anyone else, I would call you out on that. But apparently, this time, I'm not saying Amber isn't lying. I'm just saying, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Given none. We can look at the text that Amber shares. So here's one here. You can see at the top, Emily has said, how do you not remember? Convenience. Now that's interesting. What's Emily asked? Amber hasn't shown that bit, right? But clearly, Emily's asked Amber something, and Amber's gone, I don't remember. Well, what doesn't she remember? Clearly, there's some question Emily wants answered, and Amber is alleging that she can't remember. We've seen Amber say she doesn't remember things when she doesn't want to take accountability in the past.
True. But Emily's not countering these texts. Why? She countered every other text.
So I actually wouldn't be surprised if Amber did fucking cheat on Emily, and that's why she's saying that she can't remember whatever this was.
I'm not saying Amber didn't cheat. I'm literally not.
And then Amber goes all caps. Now later in some other screenshots, and I think some I've shown you already, when Amber is pushed and she's really angry, she rages back in all caps, and that's what she's done here. I told you I blocked her number, and that's why she reached out to me on Instagram, even though we don't talk on there. Emily says, interesting, because I'm talking to her right now, which again corroborates Emily's story. Amber says, okay.
No, it doesn't corroborate Emily's story whatsoever. It really literally doesn't. Emily is just now saying, okay, I'm talking to, I'm going to guess, Danielle right now. And Amber says, okay. So if you were on Instagram talking to Danielle, why aren't you sharing even just a snippet of that to prove that you talked to somebody, anybody, to show evidence that you were getting some DMs showing that that people were tattling on Amber? I'm not saying Amber wasn't cheating. I'm just saying, why is this the one time you're not sharing evidence?
Emily says, and you're not being honest with me. Amber says, yes, I am. Wow, you're going to believe Danielle over me. Ha 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 ha, dude.
Yeah, so I guess she was talking to Danielle. And I have to put the context together because of Amber's text, not Emily's.
I'm done. Then Emily says, I just caught you lying with proof. And according to Emily, Danielle sent her proof.
Okay.
So it's not sounding like Emily is the crazy one. It's sounding like she's seen something.
I hate to be argumentative. I actually kind of really do. There is no proof. There is Tommy saying there's proof, but I can tell you I have an invisible dragon that lives in my non-existent garage. It's even weirder when Emily has provided proof of everything else. Now, here's the other part of this. Me having this conversation with y'all now is weird because Emily has done everything in her power to remove herself from the internet. She's shut down her Instagram, like not privated, shut down her Instagram. She's tried to remove images and other social media accounts as far as I'm aware. She's had people remove videos. She's had Amber remove videos where she's so much as even mentioned her name, not even pictures, just mentioned her name. So like Emily's trying to like scorch earth things right now. So me sitting here being like, where's the evidence? We're never going to see it because Emily does not care to show evidence at this point. Now, I don't know exactly why. I know there's tons of speculation as to why Emily decided to back out of this and quit doing this she hasn't asked Rachel to remove any of the other videos as far as I'm aware. She's just requested that this particular video be removed, and I think it's because of the voicemail note. But it's, me sitting here being skeptical at this point is kind of moot, but I just feel the need to continue to point out that like this is weird. We have, when this video came out, this added 2 more hours onto what had accumulated to be like 4.5 hours, something like that, of Rachel showing us video clips of Emily sharing screenshots of conversations between her and Amber. Like just that much time. And suddenly this one time Emily doesn't have evidence. The one time Amber shows a full ass conversation between her and Emily, this is the time Emily doesn't have evidence. It's weird. Do I think Amber cheats? Yes, there's plenty of evidence. I am so sorry about my camera skipping. I really am. But I just think it's even more suspicious that Emily chooses this one time to not have evidence to back up her story, and she's just relying on her going, yeah, that's not what happened. Nope, that's not what happened. Nope. You're just going to have to take my word on it. No, I'm not going to take your word on it. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I barely take your word on the other things. I'm not taking your word on this one. Anyway.
And Amber is gaslighting her and saying that it doesn't exist.
I mean, we could easily say that Emily is gaslighting Amber. They probably try to gaslight each other, which is probably part of the problem here. They've got two people trying to gaslight each other, and neither of them are particularly good at it. Amber's definitely not terribly good at it, unless you're in person. I have always said Amber is an excellent manipulator in person. It doesn't work on the internet because there's too many people. There's too many moving parts on the internet. One-on-one, I think she's an excellent manipulator. And I think that's probably the same story with Emily. I bet Emily is like masterclass manipulation one-on-one, especially given, you know, her profession. So one-on-one, these two are probably like fucking frightening. But on the internet, too many moving parts.
Emily says, I'm sure you're sick of being busted. Sorry it's upsetting to you, which is really funny because that is the perfect example of what Amber has done this whole time. She gets busted, she can't stand being accused of what she's done, and she gets angry and rages. Amber does, for once, show sufficient proof of the actual conversation here and gives a little bit more detail on the fact that she was accused of cheating. But when we delve in a little bit deeper, it sounds like there's more going on there than Amber admits to, and I just think that's interesting. By Amber's own definition, messaging another person is cheating, and you'll see, again, I keep saying this, but we'll get into it, Amber does say that messaging another person is harmful and upsetting to her in future messages, which you're going to see. So Amber considers texting cheating, and we know that she was extremely insecure about Emily cheating on her, more proof of which you'll see in a minute. Just going to have to trust me for now. So Emily says that by Amber's own standards, Amber did cheat on her, which is why she accuses her of cheating. Emily also told me a very...
Amber has said multiple times in the past that, you know, basically thought crimes are cheating. So really, Amber? So, you know that. But I'm not just going to take Emily's word on it. And I'm sorry, Emily saying that, it just sounds like Emily was trying to provoke Amber in that one right there. Honest to fucking God. Well, that's why I accused her of cheating. So maybe they weren't even flirting. There was just the potential that there was a message between the two of them, and you decided that that message constituted cheating by Amber's definition, not yours. Amber's definition. And so you decided to accuse Amber of cheating based on her definition, but not your definition. So you're poking a bear? You're just poking the bear? That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Interesting story about a friend of hers from Tennessee. First of all, listen to this clip here.
I went through her phone with her permission because I caught her talking to an ex. It was a girl that she said that she literally blocked. Turns out she didn't. Called some girl super cute and all this bullshit a night before we met in person, even though we were actually dating. She was messaging some weirdo on WhatsApp called Emma. Don't know fully what that was about. I still don't get it. And she's not honest about anything. She also messaged this girl that she hooked up with in Tennessee literally a week before we got together.
Girl, you are traveling. Are you like flying out all over the damn place? She's in Michigan. Tennessee is like, that's a distance.
Behind my back, and I ended up calling her and everything.
You'll notice, of course, in her live, Amber gives no context. She just says, I ended up calling her. Well, according to Emily, there was some, can't remember what it was now, some natural disaster of some sort in Tennessee. And so Emily texted this friend and was like, hope you're okay, hope your family are okay. The two of them had slept together in the past, so they had a history of having a relationship. Apparently, Amber saw this in Emily's phone, got really, really angry and called Emily's Tennessee friend and threatened her and said, do not ever speak to Emily again, and then blocked her on Emily's phone. This is hearsay, but it's kind of not, actually.
No, it's still hearsay.
Because Amber said she spoke to her as well. So
nope, that still makes it hearsay.
Emily's just providing the context of that conversation.
No, that's still hearsay. I'm sorry. Do I think Amber would call somebody? Do I think Amber would call somebody and threaten them not to talk to my woman? Yes, 100%. Do I think Amber would take it upon herself to block someone in someone else's phone? Yes, 100%. Do I think that's what happened? I don't know, probably. Amber wrote it down in her journal, so it must be true. But Amber wrote down that they were hooking up, not that she called her because of a natural disaster And don't get me wrong, natural disasters were happening in Tennessee, so it's entirely possible. But this is one of those things. I'm so sorry
Just thought
about
I'd
my pause game. There we go. I'm just saying. Do you hear what I'm saying? I don't want to continuously repeat myself for like an hour and a half. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want to talk for an hour and a half. We're at 30 minutes. But you get the gist of what I'm going at here, especially at this section. Everywhere else, there are screenshots of full conversations. And Rachel's really good about labeling them, numbering them, and color coding them. And so it's very easy to keep track of where we're at and the timeline as far as, you know, Rachel is aware of it, right? So, like, any other time, we can really just kind of follow the flow. And it's very interesting, especially her very first video where she was going over the argument that the two of them were having the night that Rarity went missing. And it's really fascinating to watch that entire argument just kind of develop. It's kind of fascinating, honestly. I mean, but here it just feels like either Emily just got tired of providing evidence or she didn't have it. And if she didn't have it, why? You seem to have evidence for everything else. Why is it this time you don't? And you don't even explain why you don't have it. Like, oh, I can't share those DMs between me and Danielle because Danielle doesn't want her DMs being shared. Sucks, but I would have to swallow that one. I mean, I can understand Danielle is a third party. She is a moving piece in this puzzle, and I'm sure the internet would love to get their hands into whoever the fuck she is. And I can fully understand why she would want to be like, no. So I can understand that, but that's not what was said. So at no point was there, I don't want to share these because I'm trying to protect Danielle's identity. Right? So anyway. All right. I do want to jump ahead, and I need to find the spot that I want to jump ahead to. So give me a minute. Okay. A couple of things I want to talk about that I don't really want to sit and watch the video of. Rachel does go on to talk about Amber and Emily arguing over money. We know Amber uses money to control people, and it's an interesting conversation that happens between Amber and Emily about money, about who spends money on who and whom. Anyway, it's just more evidence that Amber does try to use money to manipulate. However, in this case, it doesn't really work because Emily has her own money and she's not dependent on Amber and she doesn't live with Amber. And I think that's interesting because I think she tried to pull the same shit with Wifey, and Wifey was like, nah, I can leave, and did. And the more Emily talks, the more I'm just like, man, Wifey would be really interesting to talk to, but I don't want you to come out. So you just stay wherever the hell you are. Anyway, the point being, there's some ugly things said on both ends about, money. At one point, Emily throws back in Amber's face that she hasn't paid off, that she's behind on what the Billie Eilish tickets cost. And, maybe that's just said in frustration, but it's still kind of a shitty thing to say. Don't get me wrong. Amber's a shitty person, and Amber pulls the same shit, right? That kind of crap. Amber pulls that shit. Okay? So it probably was weird getting a dose of her own medicine. And then what was the other thing? Oh, and then Emily says crap like, this is why your family doesn't want to be around you. Here's the thing. Whether that's true or not, Emily is saying things that she knows are hurtful. Right? Whether it's true or not, Emily is trying to say hurtful things. Like, she's going for low blows when they fight. And that's what I see in these text messages. It's not that they're arguing. It's not that Amber's trying to pull her innocent little girl act or whatever. It's that when Emily gets angry, Emily goes for the low blows too, just like Amber does. And yeah, it's kind of, haha, Amber's getting a dose of her own medicine. Cool, but at the same time, like, y'all, Emily fights just as dirty as Amber does in these text messages, right? So just putting it out there. You know, her behavior seems to be, at least in the text messages that I've seen, kind of just as toxic as Amber's, right? She says nasty things to Amber. She picks on Amber's insecurities. She goes for low blows against Amber. She apparently just starts randomly accusing Amber of cheating on her. And maybe Amber was. I'm not doubting it. But the thing is when this is like the thing that she won't back up with evidence. And Rachel says, I want to play this part here because I don't agree with it. I think I've got it queued up. And I need to go over here.
But we can see, when we look at the whole context of these conversations, that Amber is awful. And you look at Emily.
I'm not arguing that Amber isn't awful. Amber is very shitty in these text messages. And I'm sure she was just as shitty on FaceTime. I don't understand how anyone dates her.
Calling Amber a cunt. It's kind of the only thing she's done in the whole conversation.
It's not, though. It's really not. There are... And Rachel does rhetoric. There are lots of little tiny microaggressions that I see that Emily pulls. Lots of little shitty things that Emily says. Now, are they being said out of frustration? Maybe, but they're still little tiny, and they get bigger. You know? They get bigger as the frustration in the relationship, I'm gonna guess, the frustration in the relationship goes on. Okay? Like, and the things, and we can't forget the shit Emily says about Amber in other spaces on the internet. Right? These are still things that have been, that Emily did. Emily went to Reddits and said really nasty things about Amber. I'm not saying, oh, poor pitiful Amber. I'm just saying, don't forget Emily's behavior that is happening around the same time. Right? Just, okay. This is the same person. The same person that's sitting here trying to convince you that she didn't do anything wrong in these text messages is the same person that was on the Reddits saying Amber's body is going to look like a melted candle. Calling her Porcahontas. Something else she called her. I don't remember. Okay? That's the same person.
And I have to ask myself, this whole Amber and Emily were toxic for each other and...
Hang on. This is what I want you to hear. Shit. Okay, hang on. This was actually the part. Also, I really like Rachel's nails.
She's done in the whole conversation. And I have to ask myself, this whole Amber and Emily were toxic for each other and were just as bad as each other. I don't know if that's true, because I don't see a lot of that. And when I ask Emily and I say to her, what about this? What about that? Can you send me proof of this? She's got no trouble doing it. She sends it. So that...
Okay, first off, up until the cheating allegations, she doesn't send evidence for that. And she doesn't explain why she won't send evidence for that. Or at least if she did, Rachel didn't explain it. And that's something I need to know. I'm sorry, I need to know why. If this is gonna be it, I need to know why. We'll never know why now. So I mean, again, this is a weird conversation to be having at this point, but we're having it. And what was it she said? Let's see. You look at Emily calling Amber the C word, and I have to ask myself the whole Amber and Emily were just as toxic, if that's true, because I don't see a lot of that. Really? And when I ask... Oh, I was talking about the... Okay, this isn't working.
toxic for each other and we're just as bad as each other.
We're toxic for each other and we were just as bad as each other. Yeah. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Emily seems to have no problems egging Amber on. Emily broke up with and blocked Amber, but then unblocked Amber and got back into a long distance relationship with her. Right? Emily had no problem having the pictures that Amber sent her. I know Emily says that they were unsolicited, but I mean, I can say a lot of things. You know? What do I think Amber's desperate enough to send unsolicited pictures to somebody that she thinks will find them? I mean, I've seen the thirst traps on TikTok, so yes. But do I know that Emily's a feeder and finds that kind of shit attractive? Yeah, I know that too. So it's just, it really is Emily's word in certain circumstances. It really is Emily's word versus Amber's. And don't get me wrong, it's really hard to accept Amber's word at any point. But there's really not a whole lot of reason to take Emily's either. And have I gotten to the point where she reads off Emily wanting to get Amber healthy? I don't know if we've gotten to that point yet, but I know that this video is getting long. I don't know if we're there yet, and I'll repeat myself when we do, but there's a part later on where Rachel will read some text messages between the two of them, and she's trying to make the argument, I think she's trying to make the argument, that Emily was somewhat concerned for Amber's health. Or I think she's trying to make the argument that Emily wasn't the reason why Amber went off of Ozempic. And I don't think Emily was, because Amber has no staying power. Too many names. Emily didn't need to be in the picture for Amber to quit taking the Ozempic. Amber was going to stop taking Ozempic one way or the other. But there's a part in there where Rachel reads Emily asking Amber, "Have you weighed yourself today?" And Rachel says something to the effect of, "That sounds like somebody who, cares about your health," or something to the effect of that. I don't remember what the exact wording is. You have to remember, Emily is a feeder. And I believe it was Snowflake that did the little documentary-ish thing on feederism, covering mostly male feeder. I don't think there was a single female feeder in there. Anyway, that's what they ask the women. Have you weighed yourself today? How much do you weigh today? How much do you weigh? They will weigh the women, especially after they've eaten. They want to know how much weight the women have gained. So Emily asking Amber, "Have you weighed yourself today?" That's not, "Oh, babe, have you lost your weight? I'm trying to build you up here, No, that was Emily asking Amber, "Have you weighed yourself today?" That's what that was. That wasn't Emily asking Amber, trying to be there for Amber in her health journey. That was Emily, That's what that was. So that's why text messages are kind of rough, because you don't get to hear the inflections. You don't get to see the hand gestures, that kind of shit. So you got to remember who these people are. You got to remember that Emily's a feeder. So when Emily's asking a fucking 600-pound woman after she's eaten if she's weighed herself today, "Have you eaten? Have you weighed yourself today?" That's weird coming from Emily. Okay? Emily's not her coach. Emily's not asking her if she's sticking to her meal plan. Emily's not making sure she's making weight for her fight that evening. Okay? No, Emily wants to know how much Amber weighs, because that's what Emily likes to know. That's part of the feederism thing. I'm not even making that shit up. I'm not even speculating. it's in the documentaries. I think it's Snowflake that did one. And I'm pretty sure, did Chikara also go over it? I think Chikara's gone over it. I think it's the same documentary even. I'm pretty sure Snowflakes went over it. I think Chikara went over it. I want to say Nadia Nymph, and oh shoot, what was the other girl's channel? She hasn't made a video in a hot minute either. Anyway, the point is, I've seen the damn thing enough times at this point. This is something they do. So anyway, I don't know if we've gone over it yet or not, but I know it's coming up. I mean, maybe we've already done it. We'll find out. But I think there's at least one more section in here that I want to talk about, and that's part of the section that I wanted to talk about. So maybe I'll just skip it when we get to it because I've already kind of talked about it. But I think that's enough for this video at this point. I know it's kind of weird now that this video's gone and Emily has poofed from the internet, from the interwebs, and Amber's being real quiet right now again. That's not really surprising either. Though I am mildly concerned this time. Just this far concerned. Just this far. Because it's, the circumstances are a little strange. I think strained might be the actual word I was looking for there. Either way. So, but that's just what I wanted to say, and just kind of my argument that I wanted to put out there. There might be, what I've already done, this will be the third one. There might be a fourth video about this that I want to have. And then if I go back, I don't even know if it's worth going back over the older videos here, because that had been my intention, but Emily's gone now, so don't really know if it's worth it at this point. So there's that. Maybe a video going back over who the fuck Emily was might be a good idea. I don't know. But Emily's gone now. Or at least for the time being, is gone. So there's that. I will link this video in my comment section down below. If you have made it this far in this video, go ahead and put a... I'm trying to look for something in the background of Rachel's video. I don't know. A lipstick. They got lipsticks, right? There's a lipstick emoji, right? Go ahead and put, I don't know, a lipstick down in, or the lips down. Yeah, we got lips. Lipstick or the lips down in the comment section as your emoji. Let me know what you guys think. I know there's a lot to think. And like I said at the beginning, I know this is kind of contentious as far as the controversies within Girl World on the Amberverse side. So I understand that there are people who have differing opinions. So nobody has done anything weird in the comment section yet. I just, can we just keep it that way? Can we just stay civil? That's all I'm asking. And again, my audience is pretty good. So I'm just saying this just to make sure we stay that way. That's all I'm saying. Anything else I need to say? Oh yeah, use timestamps. That has been very helpful because as you can see, I forget things very easily. I don't have brainworms, Allie. And thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. I truly appreciate everybody's support. And I mean, I know Rachel took this video down, but I've also got a link to Rachel's channel if you want to go over there and watch the other videos that are still up, or just, show Rachel some love. Do not go over there and be shitty, please. That's not the intention at any point of this, and I will disown you if you do. And I think that's all I really have to say at this point. I think I've said everything I want to say. If there's a fourth video, I will see you guys in the fourth video. And otherwise, I will see everybody in whatever next video I do. Bye!
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.